Hello, thank you all for coming. Thanks for taking time out of your evening. I know you probably have a lot of other things you'd rather be doing, but we appreciate you being here. This community input and feedback is what this plan is all about. So we're really excited to see the number of folks here that have come out to participate. So I'm Michael Martin. I'm the Director of Public Works for the County of Calaveras, and we've partnered with our consultant team to do this comprehensive safety action plan. So the phase of the plan we're in right now is the outreach and education component. So that's why we're here today with you guys. They're going to give us a presentation about the plan, what some of the findings are, what some of the research and work that they've been conducting. And we're here to answer questions and solicit feedback from you guys on any areas of concern you have, anything else you think the plan should be looking at, all that type of stuff. That's what this meeting's all about. And then when the presentation's done, you'll see these project boards behind you here. They cover different aspects of the plan throughout different areas. And this does include Angels Camp as well. Steve is here with Angels Camp. So if you have questions about specific areas in Angels Camp, we could partner on that effort as well. This plan covers the county and Angels Camp. It's focused on county and city maintained roads. It does not focus on highways. So if you have concerns or questions or issues about Caltrans right away, that's a separate thing. We're happy to hear from you and talk about it. We could pass that information on, but none of that would be included in this plan, because this plan is primarily for county and city maintained roads. So with that, I just want to recognize Supervisor Fallendorf is here too, District 4 Supervisor. And then I'll allow the consultant team to introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the presentation.
Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Ruth Fish Patel, also go by Rudy. I'll be doing the presentation. I'm supported by my project manager, Ruta Charivala. Our other team member is Grishma. And we're also supported by Melissa, who will assist with the outreach component, and Sarah back there. So all of us are available for questions afterward. So bear with me. I'm going to try to put you guys to sleep this evening with a quick presentation. Kind of give you an overview of what we've done so far, where we're going, and then what our next steps will be. All right, so today we're going to talk about the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan, which I'll be referring to as the CASP a lot of times throughout the presentation. We did intros. So today's agenda, I kind of walked over it briefly. We'll talk about the CASP process, the collision data we looked at, what years we looked at the collision data, what the HIN is, which is a high injury network is, what the collision profiles look like within your county, what the community input we've received so far looks like, and then what are the safety projects that we preliminarily started identifying, and this is where we want to hear your feedback if what we have sounds good to you, or do you have any other suggestions? We're all ears. We want to know as much from you folks because you deal with this every day. So getting into it, what is a comprehensive safety action plan? It's a US-funded program for safe streets for all. We want to improve safety for all roadways and intersections, and the goal is to bring fatalities and severe injuries down to zero. We prioritize human life. We recognize traffic deaths are preventable and severe injuries also. We also want to make sure roadways that are safer and account for human error. We also want to promote slower speeds, expand safer transportation options throughout the county, advance roadway safety and affordability, address collisions, risks proactively and reactively. So just because we're seeing collisions in some part of the county doesn't mean we don't want to address the other areas of your county where you may not have collisions, because if you're facing an issue in one area, you might be facing it in other areas too. So we want to make sure all our improvements are encompassing the whole county. And then we want to align transportation and land policies, implement proven and innovative strategies, and ultimate goal is to eliminate traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. So where are we in the CASP process? So we started this project back in April 2025. Typically with these CASP projects, we look at the collision data for the last 5 years. So we looked at from 2020 to 2024 December. We used Switter's and Tim's database to collect all that collision data, aggregate it, and I'll be presenting to you shortly. Then from there, we looked at the trends, what it's showing us, what type of collisions the county is facing. We identify the higher risk networks, which of your roadway or county roadways are considered dangerous or a little bit less safer than the other ones. Then we developed, we had a TAC, which is a technical advisory committee meeting on the stakeholder and community input meeting one, where we collected some initial feedback from everyone to kind of roll it into what we will be seeing later today. Then we developed safety countermeasures based on that input and the data we saw. Then we had another TAC and stakeholder input meeting. Then we started integrating and developing a plan and developing prioritized improvements. And now we're here again today where we've developed some safety projects we think for the county that will be beneficial. We want to really hear from you. What do you think of them? Are these good areas, the corridors, intersections we've identified? Do they make sense to you? If they don't, tell us which areas you think are also dangerous so we know better and we can compare that to the collision data as well and validate your concerns. From after this meeting, we'll compile all that data, refine our safety project locations. So nothing you see here today is finalized. We're still going to update it, integrate it, add more information to it based on the feedback we're getting. And then that'll get rolled into a draft CASP plan, which will then be reviewed by the council and then approved. Then it'll go into a final plan, which will be eventually used for grant funding to do a lot of the improvements that are identified here. So what does your collision analysis look like? So looking at the county, we have 356 injury collisions. Out of that, you have severe injury as 21%, visible injury, complaint of pain. So what are your main three collision factor types? You have hit object, which is at 53%, you have overturn, and you have head-on collisions. And what are the violation categories? What's causing these type of collisions? A lot of it is improper turning, DUIs, and unsafe speeding. You may be aware of that when you're driving around the county roads. People are flying down some of these roadways. And then lighting conditions is another one, 36%. And one of the important things that to note here is a lot of your collisions are happening on your roadway segments. 70% of those are happening on your segments more than at your intersections. So when we look at that and we looked at which of your intersections are your high injury network collisions, so the KSI term you see there stands for killed or severe injury. In a CASP, those are usually weighted higher because the goal of this plan is to reduce where we're having fatal and severe injury type collisions. We're still looking at the other two categories of collisions, but these are generally weighted a little bit higher in the category. And you can see these are the various roadways, starting with Little John Road as one of your more severe roadways in the high injury network. Then you have Baldwin Street, you have Railroad Flat, it's O'Brien's or O'Byron's. I'll get that right eventually. O'Byrne's, there you go. The third one is the third time's a charm. And then you have Mountain Ranch Road, Southworth Road, Hogan Dam, and you can read the rest of the roadway segments. We'll talk about these when we have informal discussions as well. So then I'll let Melissa go over some of the community feedback that we've been getting so far.
Hi. So feedback was gathered through a variety of different channels. So there is a project website that's hosted on the county webpage. And on that website, we have an interactive map, or rather we had an interactive map, a survey, a report, a concern tab. And those online portals were open for a brief period of time, starting in the summer and then closing November 15th. So through those three methods, we collected information from you, the public. We also had our first round of community meetings that were virtual and one in each of the 5 districts. So in addition to the collision analysis and the findings that Rudy presented, we took a look at the community feedback we received from you all during that first round, and I'm gonna go over those results. So for the first method, this is the interactive map. Again, this was on the project website. You could see an example of it to the right. So this map had the ability to zoom into your location of concern for you to add a marker and to describe the issue that you were experiencing, noting whether the issue was related to auto traffic, pedestrian safety, bicycle safety, and it also had the ability for you to upload photos. So again, we looked at all of that data, some common themes that we found. Go back, we got 60 comments from 25 commenters. So people inputted more than one comment. Some common comment themes that we found was traffic calming and control were main issues, as well as pedestrian and bicycle safety, road design and maintenance, school zones, as well as intersections. And within this map, you could also see the comments that other people inputted, and there was an ability to upvote or downvote some of the other comments. And here you see the most upvoted comments. It was, the first one is related to steep grading. The second one is related to reckless driving and speeding. And the third one is related to recurring accidents associated with narrow roads and speeding. For the survey, we had 52 comments from 45 people. We asked a variety of different questions. Here you see that the majority of respondents noted that they live in Valley Springs, 38%. 13% indicated they lived in Murphy's. We try to get information from the public regarding concerns you had traveling to your communities as well as within your communities. Again, the intent there was to identify issues in the segments versus at the intersections. So we found that most people were traveling to Valley Springs, 31%, followed by San Andreas at 23%. For travel to your most traveled to community, factors impacting comfort included speeding drivers at 26%, followed by passing at 24%. And for travel within your most traveled to community, again, that's once you're in your community, what are some factors impacting your comfort? Again, it was speeding drivers at 23%, followed by challenging intersections at 17%. And the two tables, we asked what types of improvements the community would like to see. So for travel to your most traveled community, the highest improvement suggested was guardrails at 48%, followed by lighting at 33%, and enhanced delineation at 33%, and advanced warning flashing beacons at 31%. And within your most traveled to community, the improvements suggested included lighting at 47%, followed by high visibility crosswalks at 40%, sidewalks at 42%, and then high visibility crosswalks at 40%. And for the report a concern tab, so once you visited the project website, we had a tab where you can input comment, and it's open-ended. We received one comment from one commenter, and it was related to an issue on Highway 4, where speeds were noted, as well as a safety issue associated with passing on the shoulder. And the commenter suggested the installation of turn lanes and diamond entrances. And again, we had a round of community meetings in the summer. Some comment themes that were discussed there included traffic calming and control, where speed control infrastructure was suggested. And other infrastructure improvements included widening roads, turnouts, and guardrails. And they also emphasized safety and education. That's another aspect that we're looking at. So in addition to the projects that you'll see around the board, Rudy is going to jump into some of those right now. A component of the plan includes safety and education programs as well. So overall, for the community meetings, comment feedback included main issues being speeding, DUIs, distracted drivings, illegal passing, and poor road improvements. And commenters noted the improvements such as streetlights at intersections would reduce last-minute braking and accidents. And that's it.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to briefly go over the first 5 projects, and the 6th one is more of an educational component. What I cover in these slides, it's all on the boards behind you. So after I go through this presentation, you'll have time to look at them more closely, ask any questions, provide feedback. We'll take diligent notes to incorporate everything. Sorry, one second. So the first project we considered was a corridor safety improvement project, because as the collision data was showing, 71% of your collisions are happening on your roadway segments. So what can we do to improve your roadway segments so they're a little bit safer, drivers drive more carefully? Some considerations are adding longitudinal rumble strips. Those help with drifting drivers, keeping them in their lane, especially at nighttime or when they are in a little bit of a drowsy type condition or potentially drinking and driving. Those rumble strips really wake people up or keep them alert that I should be staying in my lane. The other ones are advanced warning signs and curb warning signs. A lot of these roads, as I was driving around through the county, you can benefit from just having some basic signage along the curvatures, letting people know where you're approaching. Some of the other benefits I could see are adding warning signs for approaching driveways, because there's a lot of times you come across or you come around a curve, there's a driveway either, or there's a main cross street coming up and you don't even realize there's a cross street coming up. So it'll be good to alert drivers that, hey, you're coming onto an encroaching cross street. There might be a car coming out of there too. So, you might use a little more careful judgment knowing those things. And then the other one is installing radar speed feedback signs. These will be more limited to when you're on the county road and you're free flowing at 55 miles per hour, 60, and then you're coming into the towns. You want folks to be alert, like, hey, I'm entering a town. You want to put these radar speed feedback signs strategically. So as you enter that slower speed zones, you accompany it with regulatory signs saying, hey, slower speed limit. Now you're in a 35 mile per hour zone. And then after that, you put these advanced warnings, radar speed feedback signs to alert drivers, hey, what speed I'm going at. Hey, I need to slow down. I'm entering a slower neighborhood area. And this is all because you have about 214 injury collisions happening on your roadway segments. And then the CRF number you'll see on all the following slides is called the crash reduction factor. Based on FHWA, if you apply these countermeasures, you're expected to see roughly a 30% reduction in these types of collisions that you're seeing on your roadway segments. Next, this is just a map of the areas that we're looking at for improvements. A lot of your county roads, that's on the first project board you'll see back there. So you'll see this more closely with the locations we've identified. Here, this is a starting point from the data we've seen. We want to hear from you if there's additional areas that the data isn't showing or you want to see some improvements happen at. Second one is installing turnouts. So this is again kind of tied to project 1 and 2. Turnouts are a very helpful way of giving a safe way for passengers to move to the side, especially if people are tailgating, speeding drivers are coming up behind you. So hopefully they're not going to pass you or aggressively, even in a no passing zone, and you can potentially move out of the way and let the more aggressive drivers go by. The turnouts are also very beneficial in the event of fire or emergency evac. This helps the fire department respond more safely and get folks maybe out of the way or use that turnout space to negotiate around all the cars that might be stuck in a queue. So this type of crash reduction factor is looking at about 20%. With this project, based on the feedback not shown here, we're going to incorporate some guardrail improvements, especially at your windy roads. As I've driven through the county, I can see there are some curves and areas where you just have a steep drop on curves, and we want to add some guardrails there for added protection and safety. And then also one thing we discussed was high friction surface treatment. It's a roadway treatment that applies and provides more friction on the roadway. So it makes it so if you're braking or turning a corner, your wheels have better grip on the ground, especially during icy conditions or adverse weather conditions, to improve the overall feel and safety of the roadway. So those will be getting added to project 2. And these are the locations we've identified. Again, we want to hear from you. If there's areas you're worried about, we want to know. Then the next 2 projects are more focused at your unsignalized intersections. We have a lot of crossings on your county roads with unsignalized intersections, and we want to improve safety. Some of the things we can do is installing more warning signs in front of intersections or when you're approaching an intersection, kind of like I was mentioning about the advanced driveway signs or advanced intersection signs. So if you're coming on a windy road and you're coming around a mound or an area where you don't know another road is coming, if you put signs to alert folks, hey, there's a roadway cross street coming, you want to be aware, and then you might be more aware there's a car that might be coming out of it. So you're more aware of your surroundings and what's upcoming on these roadways, especially when you're traveling faster on some of these roadways. Another thing on top of adding some of the warning signs is installing flashing beacons on your existing signs to better make them more visually stand out, especially during like the cloudy weathers or some poor weather conditions, and even at nighttime. As some of the signs may not reflect or show up when the light hits them properly. So flashing beacons are also proven as a good countermeasure to further enhance your safety at intersections, to give some advance warning. You can place them in advance of intersections, especially your critical ones, to just better alert, like, hey, there's an oncoming intersection, I need to be careful. One thing I didn't mention about the warning signs is also we would add them on your side streets too. We want to make sure if you're approaching a street where it's uncontrolled traffic, you'll see those yellow signs saying cross traffic doesn't stop. So you have to make sure you're paying attention. Hey, this traffic is not stopping. I have to be the one to be more careful about it. And other improvements would be warning signs or crossing signs. Just like right here on this roadway, there's the school crossing signs. Out here, we would improve them by having like 2-sided school zone signs. So they're on both sides of the street. So when you're approaching it, you really see that this is a school crossing and you're being more mindful of it. And then, so these type of improvements would give you like about a 20% crash reduction factor. And again, this is the rough location of where we've identified these locations based on the collision data. And we can discuss this more after this presentation. The next one here is also improvements at your unsignalized intersection, but this is more to do with the pavement on the ground. Because not only we want to make sure your signs are in better condition, we want to make sure your pavement is in good condition by having visible edge lines, proper center lines, proper stop marking legends. Just in front of this here, the school crossing pavement marking is faded. We want to make sure that's up to date. So folks who might not notice a sign can see on the road, like, hey, I'm approaching a school crossing. I need to drive slower or be more careful, because both signs and pavement markings go hand in hand to enhancing overall safety of a corridor and an intersection. So it would be all those things, improving crosswalk stripes, adding yield markings, and then installing some additional markings to make sure overall intersection is safe. And this gives you about a 25% crash reduction factor. Again, this map also highlights the locations we've identified. There might be some overlap from the previous project to this one because both these improvements kind of go hand in hand to ensure the overall intersection is much more safer. And then the fifth project we have is streetlights. So one of the important things is, and one of the things the collision data shows is we do have collisions happening at nighttime. So the things we can do is by adding streetlights and adding them strategically, especially in areas where you do have an existing power source or it's near a more populous center, because we want to make sure the folks that are using your roadways at nighttime, walking or driving, have a light so you're more visible to oncoming traffic and everyone feels more seen at nighttime, because that will improve the overall safety for the corridor. And this provides roughly a 40% crash reduction factor by adding a street light in strategic locations that it makes sense. So these are the locations we've identified on a map. Again, if you think there's need for more locations that are not here, please let us know. We want to hear that from you. And then the next thing is alcohol and awareness program. One of the things the data did show us is there are a lot of DUI collisions happening on the county roads. So one of the important things is we want to focus on education when it comes to drinking and driving and having more awareness and programs. The county's health department is already working using the OTS grant to promote these health educational programs, and the data is supporting their need for it. And we're just kind of emphasizing that, you know, alcohol awareness is an important thing for this county to ensure overall safety is there for all residents who are even trying to be on these roadways and just drive safely. So another thing I wanted to mention with the Office of Traffic Safety that the county just received, they received about $143,000 grant to support data-driven efforts for protecting most vulnerable roadway users, including children, pedestrians, bikes, and teens. And it's going to be a program to help with all these improvements or all these items here, which is traffic safety education, car seat education, bicycle helmet distribution, and community bike rodeo events, teen traffic safety courses for reducing risky driving behaviors, certified car seat technician training, partnership with local law enforcement to support traffic safety and injury prevent collisions, and surveys of local studies to guide future traffic safety strategies. So they've received the funds and they're now acting upon it. So just want to let you know the county is putting in efforts to help improve the overall safety here. So what are our next steps? So today's a very important step to just gather as much feedback we can get from these meetings from you folks. Give us your input. We want to take it all, refine our safety projects. Next time after these meetings end, we'll go back, consolidate the information we got, the public input online, the in-person meetings, update our project list, and move those projects forward into a draft plan. Then the draft plan will get adopted by the council and approved. Once those are approved, we can go after grant funds like the SS4A grant funding coming up later this year to start getting money to the county to start improving your county roadways. And then with that, open it up to questions, and then we can talk about the boards behind us too. All right, we already have a question.
I had a comment on some of the safety features. You're going pretty fast, so maybe
Yeah.
you can cover this. That's good.
Apologize.
But even some of the maintenance, let's say on Williamsbury Road,
Mhm.
okay, and I'll notice from the IGA market to heading down toward, several miles down there. Just the white striping, the dividers in the road, they're very difficult with fog, with rain. They're very, very difficult to see the lanes, especially if you have another car coming at you, because there's areas there that are not very wide. So we do need some continued updating in these, and I'm just giving you one example there, but there could be somebody that could be watching those areas. I know I have to slow way down because sometimes in the fog I can't even see the white line on the side to make sure I'm staying in my lane.
No, that's great feedback. That's kind of where we're going to be identifying those type of countermeasures as part of the Project 1, which is your roadway corridor safety. And we want to enhance your edge lines or fog lines also, and then improve your center lines, especially when the areas they're faded. We want to make sure they're enhanced and make sure they're better visible. Visibility is improved, especially in the narrow areas that you're talking about, because that's what the collision data also kind of supports that. So yes. I'll start with her and then I'll come to you.
Once again, the list of where the problem areas were, I didn't get to read through the whole thing, but where I've seen the worst accidents personally is at Milton Road and Highway 4. Was that on there?
Milton Road as a county road will be there. Highway 4 as a Caltrans facility.
That's actually in Stanislaus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is, okay. All right.
That intersection, yeah.
And then the other thoughts were bike lanes, better, like someplace like Little John Road. The people like to, go for a walk or ride their bikes, and there's no shoulder even to safely walk on. I don't know if that's something you can work on.
Yeah, we can definitely look into adding potential shoulders to then use them for potential bike lanes. Yeah, definitely. You had a question?
Going back to lines, we have county roads that don't even have lines. It's just a road and people drive any place on that road that they want to. Over here, Hodson has vertical curves, so as you're going down the road, you can't see another car coming because they're on the other side of the hill until you get there. And then you're both swerving.
Oh, wow, yeah. We'll make a note of that roadway and definitely add
But
that.
there's others, there's some in Mountain Ranch, and we just a line down the middle to
Oh, yeah. No, that's an
remind
easy.
people where they're supposed to be.
I fully agree, yeah, that on those low volume roadways where they're not the main road, but they're still, accessed by the residents, just adding a simple center line makes a big difference, right? And it makes the roadway more visible, like, okay, this is where I should be following.
It would be a simple solution.
We agree, we would definitely look into that, so I think Grishma, my teammate, is writing that location down just so we can take it back. So, awesome, thank you.
And if you remember any more.
Any more roadways, please?
Please.
So I don't know the names of Mountain Ranch.
Yeah, yes, please.
My concern is guardrails.
Yes.
When do you decide to put in a guardrail and when do you not?
Guardrails are typically when you have a steep cliff next to a roadway where you don't have any space for a clear zone recovery. So typically your roadways when you have a path of travel and they don't have enough of a flat area where a car can safely maneuver out and stop if in the event something happens and it's just a steep drop off, and if they go into that and they could go down and it could be a fatal collision, those are the areas we want to start as an initial point to start adding guardrails.
There's a lot of those areas in Calaveras County
Correct, yeah, so
and Tuolumne County. I don't know if you're over there.
Yeah, no, so Calaveras County is one of those locations where I have seen it from me driving around recently, and I have actually a meeting tomorrow with
McCallum Hill.
McCallum Hill. Well, there's a nickname for it now. Mohill, there you go. The Mohill Fire Station. So I want to go over there and actually look at some of those locations, and then we're gonna add those into some of the corridor safety.
You're staying here in Copper or in Calaveras and you drive over there on 49? Well, you don't do 49?
We won't do 49, right? We could pass that along to Caltrans, but our interest is in your county roadways, like on O'Brien's Ferry Road. I'll get it right eventually. And some of those roads when you get into the lake areas, I did notice there is, cliff drop-offs, so those areas would benefit from having guardrails, especially when you get down to that beautiful lake we have there. We want to make sure, because I was in awe watching the scenery, I don't want to be driving off the road when I get closer to those windy areas. So those areas would benefit from guardrails and improvements of that nature.
Also, we have been having other outreach meetings too, every district. That's the time when we get actual time to go and, drive around and meet with county staff, and they can tell us exactly where they want us to go and look at. So this is not the only meeting. We have already been to 4 other. So that's how we are covering the area, because then it becomes easy for us to go and actually experience what you are experiencing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that makes, I probably want to comment on that because I'm not sure, and because I don't know how much you've been driving. Oberyn's Ferry Road, to me, sometimes is as busy as Highway 4. There's a lot, everybody comes, up Highway 4 and transits over, to here or over to Tuolumne County. So it has become, it's a major thoroughfare. Even coming here tonight, there was way more people on this than there was on Highway 4. So with that said, kind of keeping that in mind, that this is a major player in our county, and it's gonna be more. So, and I don't know if this is the committee to address, but they've talked a lot about the bridge that's going over Lake Tulloch, okay? I don't know if that is gonna be on, I know that's gonna have to be something with Tuolumne County. I don't know if that's gonna have to be federal funds or whatever, but they've been talking about that for what, 25,
30 years.
yeah, it's been a long time. And that is a dangerous zone. We've had tons of collisions going around those.
Yeah, I drove up and down
Yeah.
that today, so I experienced it firsthand. So
Yeah, it's,
you have to be
unfortunately, they have put guardrails. I mean,
Yeah, they did,
have.
yes.
It's been-
And they've already been damaged too in some areas.
As soon as you see anyone go up the hill, how long is that gonna last?
We do have a bridge replacement program, and that bridge is on our list. We're making efforts to partner with Caltrans and perhaps all Tuolumne County to maybe do an upgrade to that bridge at some point. We've applied for a grant through the COG to potentially receive some funding to help us with that effort, but that's probably our biggest, most expensive bridge in the county. So, but it does need attention. And yes, those guardrails are a target. We replace them and then they're hit the next day. So, that's definitely a hotspot area, but yeah.
Do they plan on restructuring or putting the bridge in a different location? I mean, I know we've heard that's been talked about too, just because of.
Yeah, so the grant we're asking for is a study to help us identify the best solution there. Whether it's relocate it, make it taller, wider, whatever needs to happen. But we want a study done on the best solution for that bridge. Because, you know, coming from the Tuolumne side, it's very steep curve coming down, very tight curve. So some realignment would probably be beneficial there, but that's kind of where we're at. We're trying to pursue funding to get a study program done to give us our best options for a solution there.
Yes. Oh, in back row first, then I'll come to you.
You're talking about O'Byrne's Ferry Road, and I live right off O'Byrne's Ferry Road. And the traffic there, and I'm really blaming the police in some respects for this, but it's 45 miles an hour. It should only be 30 miles an hour. People fly through there like it's nothing. They fly through actual copper up here. It went in a 30-mile zone at 45 and 50. I've had them behind me and go around me right here.
Yeah.
And so I think that the digital signs and the warning about radar, something like that might deter some of them.
Okay.
I've mentioned several times on Nextdoor about if you're having company come to this county, you need to tell them that we're, trying to be safe, and we're so sick of all the accidents that happen on 4, 8, O'Byrne's and the area. It's just ridiculous. A couple years ago, I was stuck in traffic on 4 when that big collision hit up on the top of the hill there by Telegraph Hill. And we were there for almost 2 hours waiting for that to be cleaned up and safe for us to go through. Every time I drive up that hill, I think of that accident. People pass here, something has to be done. If you have some kind of clout to get that done, that would be great. But something has to happen as far as some of these people. There are children all along the area that I'm talking about on O'Byrne's that go to school, that get off the bus, that wait for the bus, that try to cross the street to go, over to the store, etc. It's just too busy and too much traffic and too much speed for the area. And that's my main concern. This family right here, they are right on that same road. In fact, they're to the left of me, and they had someone crash into our HOA water feature right next to their house. And true, that might have been alcohol involved, I don't know, but at the same time, I think that is one of the reasons that we're really concerned about that area. You can't even get out sometimes of our driveway onto O'Byrne's because of the flying traffic, especially during the time frames that you start to go to work. People go from Tuolumne County over this way, and we have people going from here to Tuolumne County up and down 108 and 104 or 14 4, I'm sorry. And so it's really ridiculous, and I hope that you all hear this, that have some kind of say that you can take care of this. It's just crazy.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to kind of elaborate a little bit more. Rudy touched on it a little bit earlier in the presentation, but we have what's called a technical advisory committee. And it's a group of people, it's kind of the behind the scenes stuff that's happening. This is our public facing outreach meetings. But we have meetings with our technical advisory committee, and that consists of Highway Patrol, Sheriff's Department, all the fire districts, Caltrans, Public Health, County Public Works, all these entities to work together on identifying specific areas of concern. Because it's a three-pronged approach, right? It's improvements, like we've been talking about here tonight, but it's also outreach and education. So public health helps with that. They just received that grant. And then it's enforcement. CHP and law enforcement helps us with the enforcement side of that. So sometimes some of these solutions may be a combination of all three of those things, but it's important we have all those different players in the room to add to their level of expertise as to how we can help address some of this. And then one other thing I did want to say, speed limits come up often when we do these meetings. So our effort here is to identify areas where we feel the speed needs to be looked at more closely. And once this plan is done, the county could use this plan to pursue grant funding to do all the appropriate traffic and speed studies that need to be done in order for us to make changes to those speed limits. So we can't just arbitrarily change speed limits. We have to have a traffic study done, a speed survey done, that gives us a good insight and data as to what's the appropriate speed for those roads. So this effort will help build the foundation we need to make that effort that goes even further.
Could we put, because I know exactly what you're talking about, the 30-mile-an-hour drive through this area here. Really, it needs to be looked at, I mean, like right away. Is there a way that you could put in for those flashing, the signs that say, because I know there's a lot of people, they come off of Highway 4, they're zooming down here, they don't even realize, they don't even see the sign. And every once in a while we'll have sheriffs here, they'll be kind of watching it. But if there was something that, like what they had did along the road where
They
they
have an
said,
Angels Camp right now because of their roads.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
we could have something put in going both directions that would slow the people down. Because I know there's people here, they're not bad drivers, they're coming off of, they're coming off the other direction, they're coming off of Highway 4 and don't even realize they're supposed to be slowing down.
there.
Yeah, even with the school, yeah. So that would be helpful to implement right away instead of having to go through the study. That'd be easy.
Yeah, no, we have recommendations for flashing beacons and adding those improvements, and then we'll let the county know, and they're also it's part of their potential maintenance program, and not just this comprehensive safety action plan.
Yeah,
They will
there's-
be identifying,
Yeah.
hotspots they can work on.
There'll be some stuff in here which, for lack of a better term, low-hanging fruit that we'll be able to work on right away through some of our maintenance efforts, right? So if it's something that improvements that we can conduct in-house with our own resources, there's no reason to wait on those. That's something we could easily take care of. But once it becomes larger scale, guardrails, bigger stuff like that, then we would be working on projects. And then, of course, stuff that requires studies, like speed limits and things like that, and we would have to do those efforts first. But of course, if there's easy stuff that's like really obvious and we have the resources to do it, there would be no reason to hesitate. That's something we can jump on right away and then work our way through to some of the more difficult long-term stuff. And the other thing about this plan I wanted to mention is it's a revolving plan. It's ongoing. So we're going to do this effort right now, and we're taking a snapshot in time of all the conditions of the county roads throughout the county. And then this plan requires us to update every 3 to 5 years. So we'll be doing this again 3 to 5 years from now, because things will change, new development will happen, more construction projects, whatever else happens, the conditions of the roads may change. So we want to make sure we evaluate again, and we want to evaluate our improvements and make sure they're working. And so this will be a continuous effort the county will be doing now forever. It's a requirement that we do this. So this is our first round at it. We're going to find a lot of stuff, and it's going to be hard to get it all done. So it'll be an ongoing effort, but that's the good thing about this plan. It keeps the information fresh and updated so that we're continually evolving along with the changes in the conditions and requirements.
Yeah.
Has there been any discussions about extending Little John, that back way out of here? Actually not here, but on the other side.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any discussions with that. That wouldn't be part of this effort, but,
The case of emergency, the fires that
Yeah.
we've had,
yeah,
where there's only one way out, really.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
everybody's trying to cram on Little John.
I don't know if that was identified in the evacuation needs assessment or not, but we have separate ever planning documents that we do that address things like that. So I could certainly try to look into that for you and find out. Yes. Thank you.
And if you guys have more questions, we can go into a breakout session. But one thing I want to highlight, which is really impressive about this county, is you can really see the effort the county, the CHP, and the fire is making. This is the 4th meeting we've come to. They've attended all 4 of them. We do these public outreach meetings all around California and the Bay. We'd be lucky to get CHP or fire to attend these meetings. So they're all committed to helping improve your roadways, and I just want to thank them all for always attending. I'm sure he could probably do my presentations by next day, tomorrow, right? So, we're here for you guys, and it's good to see the county's really being proactive and trying to improve these roadways for you.
And probably you want to share some good news in addition to your staff and,
Yeah, well, we do, as far as the enforcement aspect, it's been a long-standing concern in the county. If you've lived in the county a long time, it's been a long-standing concern in the county, the number or the lack of the number of CHP personnel that we've had assigned to the area. So over the course of, through 2025, we added 2 additional officers assigned to our area. And then there was another recent reallocation of personnel needs, baseline personnel needs throughout the state. And we were getting 2 additional starting next month. They'll be coming to us from the academy in a training capacity. And so it'll be a few months getting through the FTO process before they're on their own, and they count as 2 additional, right? So that you'll see more black and white. So good news or bad news? But you'll see more black and white CHP vehicles out there.
yeah, yesterday he shared that, and as soon as we got out of the room, we saw someone being ticketed.
Someone was being pulled over yesterday.
Is there, before we do our breakout session, I want to, Supervisor Fullendorf, anything else you want to add, or?
No, I just want to say thank you to all of you for showing up tonight. It's important, especially for me as a board member, that you are participating. I think we've seen that sometimes the community doesn't understand how important this is, and we end up with something down the road and they're like, wait a minute, what's happening here? So this is really a good foundation, and our staff has said, and the consultant, that this will be continuing. And so this isn't the end of the road, no pun intended. That wasn't intentional. This will be a continued effort, and the Board of Supervisors are committed, and we really want that feedback so we can make the best decisions based on all of you here in this room and the community. And for those individuals that are not here tonight, if you go back home, there still is time to email. To provide more comments, so please push that out, and we will be taking those. So don't feel like if you're not able to physically show up, we still have the online feedback.
I just want to add on to that, we also have the recordings on the county YouTube site, and that anybody can watch at any time. And if anybody is interested in actually attending, we have one more meeting. It'll be the same meeting, but it'll be at the Valley Springs Veterans Hall tomorrow night.
So you don't have to be in that district.
You do not.
You can attend any meeting.
I hear a lot of planning, which it's always great, continuous planning, but from a budget aspect, from the county standpoint, what kind of dollars do we have to put to roadway improvements? And how's that prioritized between the other things the county has to cover?
I will say that this county roadways are number one, because I was just in a meeting last week, and I had 4 of the county compliment on our roads. I know we feel like they're not at the top of the list, but when you compare the investment that Calaveras County puts into a roadway system, it is by far more superb by even with our neighbor counties in Amarillo and Farming. Our investment in our strategy from the Board of Supervisors is that we want to maximize the dollar. So we want to make sure that we're going and after state and federal funds to stretch the local dollars and keep those local dollars on our county roads and then focus on the larger projects that they mentioned earlier and apply for those grants so we can keep up the regular maintenance. We have, you know, like I said, the low hanging fruit. So it's a combination through our partners with Caltrans, the state, federal, and our regional transportation agency, the COG. So there's multi-partnership investment and trying to leverage those funds. But those funds are based on these plans. So we know, as you know, as a planner, so, and we, for the most part, I mean, we've gotten almost every project in the last 2 years we've gotten funds for. So for the most part, I think some of the planning grants we didn't get, like we did put in for the Copperopolis, I forget the official name for it, but it was for the school down Reed to improve the sidewalks and some of the safety issues they were talking about, but we did it through a bike and ped grant. We did not get that, but we're reapplying in the next cycle. So sometimes these cycles, we apply, but it takes a couple tries. Right. I don't know if that's answering it. I'm dancing around it a little bit, but
I could probably add to it, and I think this will hopefully help answer your question. If not, we'll try again. But there's a delicate balance between maintenance and projects, and you know we do these projects and we invest in our roadways. But we also want to invest in the long-term upkeep of those roadways, right? So we have a limited amount of funding at our disposal that could be used for maintenance. So we try to maximize those dollars because there's not a lot of grants, there's not a lot of regional funding for maintenance work. There is for new projects, resurfacing projects, things like that. But when it comes to your day-to-day filling potholes and paving streets and refreshing striping and doing stuff like that, there's not a lot of options, so we try to maximize our local dollars on our maintenance efforts. And then everything else, we pursue everything very aggressively. We do these plans so that we have the required documents needed to apply for all the different types of grants that are available. And like Amanda said, we've got a great partnership with the COG and all the other agencies on pursuing these efforts. So that's where the success in the projects come from, is really these grants, these planning documents. Efforts like this is really what maximizes our position in getting that additional funding. So,
if you're looking for exact dollar amount, we just approved our CIP. I forget what.
So we'll be going and second meeting in March with our updated CIP. It'll be a 5-year CIP. It'll show a 5-year look ahead of all the projects that we've identified, that we have funding for, that we don't have funding for. And then the board will be working with us on prioritizing those projects, which year we'll do them in, and that type of stuff. So if you really want to know the dollars, that would be the opportunity to kind of see where we're spending this money, how it's being used, and what options are available to us.
Did you say CIP?
Yeah, Capital Improvement Program.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also want to take this opportunity to mention that these kind of plans have to be approved by board. So please, please, please support this plan, because if board does not approve of this plan, then this document is considered as a prereq document to go after any kind of grant funding nowadays. So you want this plan to be approved to even apply for it. So please take interest in this plan. Please support this plan so that we can get more funds for implementation. If we do not have this plan in place, then we can't even apply for those opportunities that are out there. So please do support this plan. We get more funds to implement.
Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Steve, who's the interim city manager for Ingalls campus here, do you have anything you'd like to add, or?
Not really. I'm fairly new to the position, so I don't have all the history of it, but I just want to thank the county, Micah and Lori and Supervisor Follendorf for including the city. any way that we can partner with the county and work together towards grants and data collection and improving traffic safety around the city as well as the county, I will do everything that I can while I'm in this position to help. And again, I just appreciate the county including the city in this, so thank you.
And I forgot to mention earlier, I want to thank the fire district for allowing us to utilize this facility. It's a great facility. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you to Lori for putting this all together. She's done all the behind the scenes work of organizing these meetings, getting them scheduled, finding a place to hold them, getting refreshments, all the good stuff. So thank you, Lori, for that. She's on our county staff and she's a great resource. So, and again, thank you all for being here. Thanks to the consultant team. What we'll do now is we'll kind of break out and ask you to come visit some of these different project boards. You can come up to us directly if you have other questions or